Let's get into the Chicago Bears. We got Pavi be joining us in about 15 minutes. We want to talk about Caleb Williams. Right now, we're in the middle of this. I don't want to say it's kind of a quiet period for the Bears, at least. This time last year, the chatter was all over the place. Justin Fields had just been traded. What are the Bears going to do? Does Caleb want to be there? Is he trying to force his way to Washington? There was a new story every day. Right now, I kind of feel like we're in the calm before the madness. There's obviously the Bears have a number 10 pick. We'll talk about in a minute which way they should go with that. But it's been very quiet on the Caleb Williams front. So I kind of want to do like an early preview of what things we want to see from Caleb Williams in year 2. Now, we can sit up here. We can talk about the sacks. We can talk about all those things. I've always said, all year. I saw how many games I did last year. I did 14 games last year out of the 17 on the Bears schedule. And out of the 68 times Caleb got sacked, I want to say at least 30 of them were on him. And a lot has to be because he holds on to the football too much. So I want him to get the football out quicker. I want him to use his legs when the defense gives him the opportunity to do. I know he don't like running. I get it. But use it. I think there's a lot of opportunities he had last year where he could have ran and he didn't, and it led to a sack. I also want to see more checkdowns. You don't have to go for the Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame, but the home run play every time. And I think with Ben Johnson, you're going to really see him take it to the next level. Now, there's as far as like worries and concerns, only 10% of me is concerned. Like that's the Bears PTSD. This is all gonna fuck up for us type thing. But if you look at all the things he did do last year, we look at him throwing for 3,000 yards. When we see him throwing for 20 touchdowns, we see him having less than 10 interceptions off, if not the most dysfunctional coaching staff, top 2 most dysfunctional coaching staff in the history of the franchise. That gives me more of a way to say, once he gets the actual system around him, he's going to get better. Now, the things he's going to have to work on off the field that we've heard, being a better leader, being a better, teammate and things like that. Not that he's been bad, but, there's been writers, and even Ryan Poles himself alluded to him stepping up a little bit more in that department. You give him a pass for that in year 2. Year 1 because he's a rookie. But you don't give him past that in year 2 if you keep hearing that. So I just really want him to take that, move it to the next level, and just really, because this year is going to be a lot of pressure on him. I don't doing the Chris Canty and all them idiots on that radio show saying that he has the most pressure out of any quarterback in the league. Like, that's stupid. People are going to be looking at Patrick Mahomes. Can he bounce back from this blowout in the Super Bowl? You're going to be looking at Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. When are they finally going to get over the Patrick Mahomes hump? So I don't even think he's in the top 5 of most pressurized quarterbacks next season, but there's a lot of pressure on him as well. Look at the rest of the NFC North. They're not going anywhere. Even though we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is going to be in Minnesota, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt just because of Kevin O'Connell. So he's going to have to step up, and a lot of people are like, okay, Ryan Poles gave you the head coach you wanted. Year 2, Roma Dunze, you got a coach who's going to be using DJ Moore the way DJ Moore is going to be used. They rebuilt the offensive line. There's going to be not a lot of excuses left for this kid next year if he doesn't step up. So I'm really eager to see what he's going to do, what this really will start next month. Next month is when the new league year officially starts, where you can start being in contact with the coaching staff, and OTAs are right around the corner. I want to see some of these group workouts. We already see the defense is doing that. Grady Jarrett has been here, 2 weeks? And he's already linking up with Montez Sweat, Gervon Dexter, Austin Booker out there in Los Angeles, and they're working together. I want to see that on the offensive side as well. I want to see Caleb link up with DJ Moore, link up with Roma Dunze, link up with a couple of new wide receivers they got, and start working now. Because I really think this needs to be a very high-intensity camp, and it's got to be something where you're setting the tone for the season. Because on paper, this is going to be a tough schedule. And I understand I don't really do the schedule toughness type thing because it's a year-to-year league and a lot of things change. But even just off 8 games, you know your division is going to be tough. That's 6 games right there. So then you add the other 2 games that for sure are going to be tough. That's going to Philadelphia and that's going to Baltimore. That's half your schedule. So I'm going to need Caleb Williams to really, really take the things he didn't do didn't do well in his rookie campaign, do it this year and do it at a high level. Then what are you trying to see from Caleb, or what are your expectations for Caleb in year 2?
Man, I'm just looking for just to see where this is gonna go. I don't want to put too much of that sauce on him yet because we know what the coaching staff was, right? I remember saying early in the season that it feels like that the coaching staff is not really coaching. They're treating this man like he's a 5-year vet and he's coming in to save the day. And that wasn't the case. And we saw evidence of that. And that's pretty much what we've been told, right? Coaching is going to install that leadership and all of that stuff in there. Also, having vets around him, quality vets around him, is going to do that. We asked Nick last week about the backup quarterback situation, and do they go get a vet or they stay with Bajan? I think they need to go get a vet that's going to be able to help that man out and be able to, point him in the right direction of things. So I'm not putting a lot of onus on Caleb only because of what he had available to coach him in the first place. I also don't want people to sit up here and think that I'm giving them that I am putting the cape on from him. Like, no. If you look at Ben Johnson and you look at the staff that's around him, I expect him to be better. I expect that already. And with the leadership thing, I don't expect him. And I also believe that the leadership thing, that's one of the big things that they put on him way too early. You have to grow into that leadership position in the NFL locker room. You can't just be anointed a leader as a rookie. Too many unfair expectations was put on that kid by us, not realizing what he had to teach him those things. So because of that, I'm not putting anything on Caleb for year 2. I'm putting it on the coaching staff. And if the coaching staff is as good as that we believe that they are, all of that is going to change because he's going to have the people to put him in that direction. Now, if it does not change, if we see the Caleb that people were fearing on the US coming out of USC in the first place, some of the stuff that we saw there, then that's when I'm going to start to question that. But I don't think we've ever gotten a chance to see that given the circumstances.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that this has got to be something where, like, obviously they're not going to have to be super, super fast because it's going to take a while to get into a new offense. But I'm definitely going to need to see a quicker start than last year because I don't feel this schedule is going to allow them to get off of the slow start. And so I think it's going to be key in it. I want to see a lot of games this year where they win because of. And I think that there needs to be proper expectations, but there should be expectations. I don't think it should be anything where, like, oh, we didn't have this and that and that, and he didn't. But if he's the guy we all expect him to be, and now coming off, whether right or wrong, the season that Jaden Daniels had last year, the season that Bo Nix had last year, and I think the Drake May shit is very overrated. People give him a lot more than they need to be giving him. But he needs to really put himself in assert himself right away and say, okay, got a system around me, got the parts, got offensive line. This is what I'm here to do, and I'm here to do it. That's what I need to see early, man.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah, we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line. I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.